The alien research vessel drifted without purpose, slowly turning as it moved through the cold dark of space. Its outer hull was cracked and burned, marked by old damage that had never been repaired. Power lights flickered weakly along its surface, like dying stars. Inside the ship, silence ruled, broken only by the low hum of failing systems and the soft sound of breathing. Jin floated near a broken control panel, holding himself in place with one hand. He was tall and thin, his dark eyes tired and unfocused. He had stopped counting how many days had passed since the last message from their people. Time had lost meaning. The ship's internal clock still worked, but Jin no longer trusted it. When hope fades, numbers stop. Marnish sat across the room, her knees pulled close to her chest. Her short black hair drifted around her face in the low gravity. She stared at a small screen that showed life support levels. The numbers were red. They'd been red for a long time. 2 weeks, she said quietly. Jin did not answer right away. Maybe less, he finally replied. COK was nearby, working on a panel that had already been repaired 3 times. He knew it would not last. None of it would. He kept working anyway. Stopping felt like dying faster. They were not soldiers. They were researchers. Their mission had been simple: observe, record, and report. No risks, no emotional choices. That was the rule of their civilization. Knowledge mattered. Individuals did not. The experiment had failed. Their people had sent them to watch a developing species at the edge of known space. The species was young, loud, and unstable. The council wanted data. Jin's team gave it to them. But something went wrong. A reactor surge from a nearby star damaged their ship. Long-range engines failed. Communication systems went dark. They called for help. The answer never came. At first, they believed it was a delay, then a calculation, then a decision. Their civilization did not waste resources on lost causes after 7 days. The emergency channel received a final message. Short, cold, clear. Mission terminated. Asset recovery denied. They were ordered to erase their data and shut down. They refused. That choice made them traitors as well as failures. Now the ship drifted near a dead star system, far from trade routes. The stars here were dim and old. No planets. No signals. Just endless dark. Era closed her eyes. They really left us. COC stopped working. We always knew they would. Jin remembered his training. From childhood, they were taught efficiency above all else. Compassion was a weakness. Attachment was dangerous. Survival of the many mattered more than the few. Yet here they were. The few life support dropped again. A soft warning tone echoed through the ship. Era looked up sharply. Oxygen recycler is unstable. SEO sighed. I can slow the failure. I can't stop it. Jin pushed himself toward the central display. He activated the sensor array. Most of the screen showed nothing. Empty space. Radiation noise. Broken data. He wasn't expecting to see anything. Then a new line appeared. A signal. Jin blinked. He adjusted the filter. The signal remained. Era noticed his stillness. What is it? Something strange, Jin said. Slowed it closer. Coalition patrol? Jin shook his head slowly. No, it's loud. The signal was not subtle. It was not hidden. It pulsed openly, spreading in all directions. No encryption. No masking. It was raw and unprotected. That makes no sense, Era said. No advanced species would broadcast like that, Jin agreed. Any spacefaring civilization learned early to hide its presence. Silence was safety. The signal grew stronger. COE frowned. It's moving toward us. Era felt her chest tighten. A hunter? Jin studied the data. No weapon signatures. Power output is uneven. The vessel appeared on the screen moments later. It was large, blocky, and rough in design. Its structure lacked the smooth lines of modern ships. External plating was thick and mismatched, like it had been replaced many times. Ara tilted her head. It looks damaged. Jin ran more scans. Primitive drive system. Heavy armor. Redundant systems. Seok let out a short laugh. Who builds like that? The answer appeared in the translated signal. The ship was broadcasting in multiple languages, repeating the same message again and again. This is a human exploration vessel. We come in peace. If you can hear us, respond. Era stared at the words. Human. They had data on humans. Limited, outdated data. A young species from a distant system. Known for internal conflict. Short lifespans. Rapid technological growth. Emotional behavior. Why are they announcing themselves? Seok asked. Jin did not know. The human ship continued its approach, slow and steady. It made no effort to hide. Ara's hands trembled. If they see us, they'll know we're abandoned.
So?
Seok said. So we are proof of failure, Era replied. Our people will erase us. And if the humans contact them, they already erased us, Seok said quietly. Jin watched the distance close. The human ship's engines burned hot and bright. Inefficient, but powerful. A thought formed in his mind. Dangerous, desperate. We can send a distress call, Jin said. Era turned to him sharply. To them? Yes, they might ignore us. They might attack us. They might sell our location to the coalition. Jin met her eyes. Or they might help. Silence filled the room. Seok looked at the failing panel, at the red numbers, at the empty stars outside. If we do nothing, we die. Era swallowed. Using the transmitter will drain the last reserve. Jin nodded. One chance. Ara closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, there was fear there, but also resolve. Do it. Jin rerouted power manually. Systems shut down across the ship. Lights dimmed further. The hum weakened. The distress signal was simple. No politics. No warnings. Just truth. Alien vessel damaged. Crew alive. Request assistance. They sent it. For several long seconds, nothing happened. Then the human signal changed. The broadcast stopped repeating. A new message replaced it. Alien vessel. We hear you. Hold position. We are coming, Era. Let out a sound that was half laughter, half sobbed. Seok stared at the screen. They answered. Jin felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. They answered quickly. The human ship increased speed. No negotiation. No demand. No calculation. Just action. As the distance closed, Jin watched the human vessel in silence. He did not understand them. Their technology was crude. Their behavior reckless. Their broadcast foolish. Yet they were coming. Not because it was efficient. Not because it was required. But because someone called for help. Outside, the dead stars watched in silence as a new light crossed the void. Breaking the darkness that had surrounded the abandoned ship for so long, the human ship slowed as it drew closer. Its engines glowing bright against the dark. From the alien vessel, it looked rough and heavy, like something built to survive impact rather than avoid it. Plates of metal overlapped along its hull. Some were newer than others. It carried the marks of long travel and hard use. Inside the drifting alien ship, Jin watched every movement on the screen. His hands stayed near the controls, ready to shut systems down if needed. Ara floated beside him, silent now, her earlier fear replaced by sharp focus. Seok stayed near the engineering section, listening to the ship's weak sounds, ready to act if something failed. They are matching our drift, Seok said. Jin nodded. Careful approach. That surprised him. For a reckless species, the humans were being patient. A new signal came in. It's one tighter and directed only at them. Unknown vessel. The translator read, We are reducing speed. We will not fire. Please confirm crew status. Ara took a slow breath. They are asking. Jin hesitated for only a moment. Crew of 3. Injured systems. No weapons online. The reply came fast. Understood. We are preparing to dock. Medical team standing by. Medical team? Seok let out a short breath. They planned for injury first. That was not normal. In most civilizations, security came first. Control came first. Aid came later, if at all. The human ship extended a docking arm. It was large, thick, and clearly reinforced. Magnetic locks engaged with a deep vibration that ran through the alien vessel. Era grabbed a rail as the ship shook. Docking complete, Jin said. For the first time in weeks, their ship stopped drifting. Air pressure stabilized slightly as systems linked. Fresh power flowed through a temporary line. Lights brightened by a small but noticeable amount. Seok laughed quietly. They are sharing power already. Jin said nothing. He watched the inner hatch. It took several minutes before the human side opened. Jin expected armed soldiers. He expected cold faces and raised weapons. Instead, 3 humans floated through the hatch slowly, careful not to damage anything. They wore simple suits, marked with symbols and names. One carried a medical pack. Another carried tools. The third held no weapon at all. The one in front raised a hand, palm open. Easy, the human said. We're here to help. The translator worked quickly, smoothing the rough edges of the language. Jin studied them. The lead human was broad, with tired eyes and lines on his face. His movements were calm but alert. The second human, a woman, moved straight toward Era when she noticed the red status light near her. Are you hurt? The woman asked. Era froze for half a second. No one had asked her that before. Not like this. I am. Functional, Era said. The woman smiled slightly. We'll check anyway. Seok watched as the third human began scanning the ship's systems without being asked. He frowned. They move like they belong here. Jin felt it too. The humans acted as if this rescue was normal. The lead human introduced himself. I'm Captain Hayes. Jin returned the gesture, stiff and formal. Jin, research lead. Hayes nodded. Your ship's in bad shape. We can tow it. Patch life support. Get you somewhere safe. Era looked at Jin. Somewhere safe? Hayes met her eyes. Yeah, somewhere you don't have to count oxygen hours. The words hit harder than Jin expected. Seok crossed his arms. Why, Hayes did not pretend not to understand. Why help? Yes, Hayes shrugged slightly. You asked. That was it. No demand for data. No trade offer. No threat. Just that. The human medic finished scanning Era and turned to COC. You look exhausted. How long since you slept? Seok opened his mouth, then closed it. He honestly did not know. The medic nodded. We'll get you food soon. Fu.Jin felt his control slipping. He had prepared for interrogation. For capture. For death. Not this. As repairs began, Jin walked with Hayes through the ship. The human captain asked simple questions about damage and systems. He listened more than he spoke. You're far from your space, Hayes said. Yes, no rescue coming. Jin answered honestly. No, Hayes did not press further. He simply nodded. Through a viewport, Jin saw more human crew working outside, attaching cables and stabilizers. They moved fast, but carefully. They risked themselves, Jin said quietly. Hayes followed his gaze. That's the job. For strangers? Hayes looked at him. Everyone's a stranger until they're not. The human ship began towing them. Power stabilized. Oxygen levels rose from red to yellow. Not safe yet, but no longer dying. Era sat near a human heater unit, holding a warm ration pack. She stared at it for a long time before opening it. It's hot, she said softly. The human medic smiled. Yeah, comfort food. Ara tasted it. Her eyes filled with tears, and she turned away embarrassed. No one commented. Later, Jin gathered his courage. Captain Hayes? Yeah? Our people may come. Hayes stiffened slightly. Hostile? Yes. Hayes thought for a moment. Then we'll be ready. You do not know their strength. Hayes gave a small, tired smile. We rarely do. Jin realized something then. Humanity did not measure danger the same way. They did not ask if they should help, only how. As the ships moved together through space, alarms suddenly sounded on the human bridge. Multiple contacts. A human voice called out. Fast, Jin felt his blood turn cold. They found us, he said. Hayes straightened. All hands, defensive positions. Era gripped the rail. They will destroy us. Hayes looked back at them. Not today. Outside, distant shapes emerged from the dark, clean, sharp, purpose-built. The coalition had come to erase their mistake, and humanity was standing in the way. Red. Warning lights flashed across the human ship as the unknown vessels closed in. The sound of alarms filled the shared space between the two ships. Jin felt the vibration through the hull, steady and strong. Unlike his own ship's weak tremble, on the human bridge voices overlapped. They were fast, sharp, and full of energy. No panic. Just motion, contacts confirmed, weapons charging, shields holding. Ara stayed close to Jin, her eyes fixed on the forward screen. The shapes outside grew clearer. Long, narrow ships with smooth black holes. No lights, no markings. They moved with cold purpose. They are not here to talk, Seok said quietly. Hayes stood at the center of the bridge. He did not raise his voice. He did not rush. Put us between them and the alien ship, he ordered. A human officer hesitated. Captain, that puts us in direct fire. Hayes nodded. That's the point. Jin turned sharply. You do not have to do this. Hayes looked at him. Yeah, we do. The human ship moved forward, placing its larger body in front of the damaged vessel. Jin watched the maneuver with disbelief. The humans were not faster. They were not stronger. They were choosing to stand. The first energy blast struck the human shields. Light flashed across the viewports. The ship shook hard. Ara cried out and grabbed a rail. Shields at 80%. A human voice called. Stared. They can hit that hard already. Jin's people never wasted time with warnings. The coalition believed mercy invited resistance. Another blast hit. Then another. The human ship returned fire. Their weapons were loud, crude, and bright. Jin could see the power difference immediately. Human shots were slower, less precise. Coalition shields absorbed most of the damage. They can't win, Ada whispered. Hayes heard her. We don't need to win fast, he said. We just need to last. Jin did not understand. Then the human ship shifted its movement pattern. It did not try to outgun the attackers. It turned, rolled, and used debris from the dead star system as cover. Broken rock and metal floated nearby. The humans fired not at the ships, but at the space around them. Explosions filled the area with fragments. Coalition targeting faltered. They're making a mess, Seok said. Hayes smiled thinly. War's messy. A blast slipped through the shields. The human ship jolted violently. Lights flickered. Hull breach on deck 6. Ceiling, now. Era expected screams, chaos, fear. Instead, the humans moved faster. Jin watched in silence as damage reports came in. The humans did not ask if they should retreat. They adjusted. They adapted. The coalition ships split formation. Trying to surround them. They are cutting us off, Jin said. Hayes nodded. I see it. Then we will be destroyed. Hayes looked at him. Probably, but Jin stared. You say that calmly. Hayes's voice was steady. Fear doesn't help. The human ship fired a concentrated burst at one coalition vessel. It did not destroy it, but it forced it off course. The enemy formation broke slightly. Now, Hayes said. The human ship surged forward, ramming straight through the gap. Jin felt the impact echo through his bones. They rammed them, Seok said in shock. Humans cheered. The coalition ships adjusted again. Faster now, more aggressive. They will keep coming, Era said. Hayes leaned forward. Yeah, they usually do, Jin finally understood. Humanity fought not to avoid loss, but to endure it. A new alert sounded. Multiple heat spikes. Enemy deploying drones. Small shapes burst from the coalition ships, swarming like insects. Era's breath caught. So many. Human weapons tore into the swarm. Explosions filled the void. Some drones got through. They slammed into the human hull. Cutting, burning, digging. Borders, someone shouted. Jin's mind raced. They will try to destroy your core. Hayes nodded. Then we stopped them. Human crew sealed sections and moved toward the breach points. Jin followed. Pulled by instinct he did not understand. The corridor was narrow and damaged. Smoke filled the air. Gravity flickered. A drone tore through a bulkhead. Ahead of them, Jin froze. The human beside him did not. The human charged forward, firing a handheld weapon directly into the drone. It exploded, throwing him back. Ara screamed. The human stood up, shaking, armor burned but intact, still good. He said. Jin stared. The human had faced death at arm's length, without hesitation. Seok whispered, "They don't stop." More drones came. Humans fought in pairs, covering each other, dragging the injured back while others moved forward. No one was left behind. Jin helped where he could, using tools instead of weapons. Ara guided wounded humans, her hands steady despite the chaos. At one point, Jin saw Hayes himself fighting near the breach, weapon in hand, giving orders even as sparks flew around him. "This is madness," Jin said. Hayes glanced at him. "Welcome to humanity." The last drone detonated near the hull. Sending a shockwave through the ship, silence followed. On the bridge, reports came in. Enemy drones neutralized. Shields down to 30%. Engines overheating. Era sank into a seat. "We can't take much more." Hayes nodded. "I know." Outside, the coalition ships regrouped. Their weapons charged brighter than before. "They are preparing a final strike," Jin said. Hayes took a deep breath. "All right." He turned to his crew. "Divert all remaining power to forward shields and weapons." A human officer hesitated. "Captain, that leaves no escape." Hayes met his eyes. "We're not running." Jin felt something break inside him. "Why?" Jin asked quietly. Hayes answered just as quietly. "Because if we don't stand here, no one ever will." The human ships surged forward one last time. The coalition ships fired light-filled space. Jin closed his eyes and waited for the end. The light faded slowly. Not in a single flash, but in long burning waves that rolled across space. Jin opened his eyes and expected darkness. Instead, he saw the human ship still there, scarred and burning, but alive. The forward shields had shattered. Pieces of energy faded like broken glass. Smoke drifted across the bridge. Several consoles were dark, but the ship was still moving. "Status," Hayes said. His voice rough but steady. Human voices answered one by one. "Engines at 20%. Forward weapons offline. Life support holding." Ara slowly stood, her legs shaking. "We survived." "For now," Seok said. Outside, one coalition ship drifted, its hull split open. Another spun out of control, leaking power. The rest had pulled back, keeping distance. "They hesitated," Jin said in disbelief. Hayes nodded. "Didn't expect us to still be here." Jin felt something heavy settle in his chest. His people never hesitated. When they struck, they erased everything. The humans had changed the rules. A warning tone sounded, core temperature rising. The human engineer reported, "We pushed too hard." Hayes closed his eyes for a moment. "How long?" "Minutes. Maybe less." Era's breath caught. "Your ship is failing." He's opened his eyes. "Yeah." Jin stepped forward. "Then release us." "Detach our ship." Hayes turned to him sharply. "No. If you stay linked, both ships die." Hayes shook his head. "Not leaving you." "That is not logical," Jin said. Hayes gave a tired smile. "We hear that a lot." Seok spoke up, his voice firm. "Captain, if you die for us, your people will lose more than we ever meant." Hayes looked around the bridge. At his crew? At the damage? At the screens filled with warning lights? Options? He asked. A human officer swallowed. We can vent part of the ship. Dump mass. It might cool the core. Kill anyone inside those sections, Ara said. Silence followed. Hayes stared at the screen. Which sections? Storage decks empty? Mostly? Mostly, Hayes repeated. A pause. Do it, Hayes said. Jin felt cold. The humans were willing to tear their own ship apart to keep moving. Explosive bolts fired. Massive sections of the human ship broke away and drifted into space. Fire and metal scattered. The ship shuddered, then steadied. Core temperature dropping, the engineer said. Aira covered her mouth. They are destroying themselves. No, Siok said quietly. They are surviving. The coalition ships moved again, slower this time. Cautious. They are afraid, Jin said. Hayes nodded. Good, a new signal arrived, sharp and direct. Jin recognized the encryption. It's them, he said. The coalition. Hayes gestured. Put it through. The image that appeared was cold and distant. Council speaker face smooth and emotionless. Human vessel, the speaker said. Disengage. The assets you carry are terminated. Aira flinched. They are alive, Jin said. We are here. You are failures, the speaker replied. Your existence is inefficient. Hayes leaned forward. Funny you crossed half a system to kill 3 people. The speaker ignored him. Release them. No, Hayes said. A pause. Human, the speaker said. This conflict is not yours. Hayes's eyes hardened. Shh, you made it ours when you tried to erase them. Psst, the speaker's tone sharpened. We will destroy you. Hayes nodded. You can try. The signal cut. Aira felt tears run down her face. They never even considered saving us. Jin said nothing. He had known this his whole life. But knowing and seeing were different. The coalition ships powered weapons again. But they did not rush. They are waiting, Siok said. For what? Ara asked. Reinforcements, Jin answered. Hayes exhaled slowly. We don't have time for that. A human officer turned. Captain Long-Range Scan. A new shape appeared on the screen. Then another. Then many human ships. Aira stared. More of them. Hayes smiled for the first time. Let's hold command. We might need help. The new human ships arrived fast and loud, engines burning bright. Broadcasts wide open. This is the Terran fleet. A voice echoed across space. You are interfering with a human rescue operation. Jin watched the coalition ships hesitate again. They were outnumbered now. Not by better ships, but by more stubborn ones. The coalition began to withdraw. They're leaving, Ara whispered. Hayes slumped back into his chair. Yeah, the human ships formed a protective line around the damaged vessels. Emergency teams moved quickly. Power lines connected. Medical crews rushed in. Aira sat on the floor, exhausted. A human medic knelt beside her. You're safe now, the medic said. Safe. Jin had never heard that word used so freely. Later. As the ship stabilized, Jin stood near a viewport. He watched humans work, repair, argue, laugh, and care. SEOK joined him. Our people would call this weakness. Jin nodded. They would be wrong. Aira approached quietly. What happens now? Jin looked at the human fleet filling the stars. Now everything changes. The dead system was no longer silent. Human voices filled the dark, unafraid. And for the first time since they were abandoned, Jin believed they would live. The journey away from the dead star system was slow. The human fleet moved as one, keeping the damaged ships in the center. No one rushed. No one complained. The priority was clear. Everyone arrived together. Jin spent much of the time watching from a quiet observation room. Outside, human ships drifted in careful formation. Their designs were different, their sizes uneven, but they stayed close. Like a group that refused to separate, Ara rested nearby, wrapped in a human thermal blanket. She slept deeply for the first time since the accident. Siok sat at a small table, eating slowly, still unused to regular meals. They plan everything around people, Siok said softly. Not efficiency. Jin nodded. And yet they succeed. When Jin was invited to speak with human command, he expected formality. He expected rules. Instead, the room was crowded. Humans stood, sat, leaned against walls. Screens showed damage reports mixed with jokes written in plain text. Admiral. Reyes, an older woman with gray hair and sharp eyes, looked at Jin directly. You were abandoned, she said. Yes. You were marked for erasure. Yes. She folded her arms. That's not how we do things. Jin hesitated. Your intervention has consequences. Reyes smiled faintly. So does doing nothing. Era and Siok were asked to speak as well. No one accused them. No one questioned their worth. Humans listened. Later news spread beyond the fleet. Human broadcasts carried the story openly. No filters. Abandoned. Rescued. Across known space. Other civilizations listened. Some dismissed it as human drama. Others paid attention. The coalition responded with warnings and threats. Human replies were short and clear. We do not erase the living. The alien survivors were offered asylum. Not as tools. Not as symbols as people. Era stood on the deck of a human station weeks later, watching ships come and go. They let us choose, she said. Jin stood beside her. Choice is power. Siok laughed quietly. Our people would fear that. Jin met his gaze. So would I once. When Jin finally addressed a wider council, his voice carried across systems. I was taught that survival belongs to the strongest, he said. I was wrong. Survival belongs to those who refuse to abandon each other. Human ships continued to travel deeper into space. Their signals loud and open. They did not hide. They dared the universe to answer, and it did. Not with silence, but with change. The human station orbited a calm blue planet, far from the dead system where everything had almost ended. From the outside, it looked unfinished. Plates were still being added. Lights were uneven, yet it was alive with motion. Jin stood near a wide window, watching shuttles move back and forth. Each one carried people, supplies, or both. Humans waved to each other as they passed, even when sealed behind glass and metal. Era walked beside him. She had grown stronger in the weeks since their rescue. Her eyes no longer searched for exits. She watched the station like someone learning a new world. They are always building, she said. Yes, Jin replied. Even when they should rest. Siok joined them, holding a small tool case. I have been asked to help repair an engine array. They said my skills are welcome. Hera smiled. Welcome. Not evaluated. Not tested. Seok nodded slowly. That difference matters. Life among humans felt strange. There were rules, but they bent often. There was structure, but also noise. Humans argued loudly, laughed easily, questioned authority without fear. Jin found this unsettling in his civilization. Order was silent. Decisions were final. Questioning meant removal. Here, questioning meant discussion. Captain Hayes visited them often. He looked more tired now, his injuries healing slowly. Yet he always made time. You settling in? Hayes asked. Era nodded. We are learning. Hayes smiled. Good. We're not great teachers, but we try. Jin hesitated. Why do you continue to broadcast openly? Hayes leaned against the wall. 'Cause hiding didn't save us in the past. Jin considered that. It invites danger. Yeah, Hayes said. But it also invites answers. Those answers came sooner than expected. A coalition envoy arrived at the edge of human space. One ship. Heavily armed. Silent. Human command debated for hours. Then they allowed it to dock. Jin was invited to observe. The envoy was tall and smooth-faced, wearing the mark of authority. Its eyes showed no fear. You are alive, the envoy said flatly. Yes, Jin replied. That outcome was not efficient. Hayes stood beside Jin. Get used to disappointment. The envoy ignored him. You have disrupted balance. Hayes crossed his arms. We disrupted murder. The envoy's gaze shifted. Your species will suffer for this behavior. Jin felt a familiar weight press on him. Fear, conditioning. Then he remembered the human. Ship burning and still moving forward. No, Jin said. We will not. The envoy looked at him sharply. You were abandoned, Jin continued. By design, humanity chose differently. The envoy said nothing. You believe survival is strength, Jin said. Humans believe survival is shared. The meeting ended without agreement, but the message spread. Other minor civilizations began to send signals. Quiet at first, curious, then hopeful. Humans answered them all. Trade routes shifted. Alliances formed slowly. The coalition responded with pressure. Sanctions, threats, humanity responded by building more ships. Not warships alone, but rescue ships. Jin watched one launch. Its hull was marked with a simple symbol, a hand reaching outward. Era stood beside him. They were changing the map. Yes, Jin said, by refusing to accept it. Seok laughed softly. Our people taught us space is cold. Jin looked at the busy station, the noise, the light. They were wrong. A human child floated past the window, waving wildly at a shuttle pilot. The pilot waved back. Jin felt something loosen inside him. Hope, he realized, was loud, and humanity had no intention of being quiet. He station-orbited a calm blue planet, far from the dead system where everything had changed. From the outside, it looked busy and imperfect, covered in docking arms and repair platforms. Ships arrived and left every hour. Human voices filled the channels, loud and open, as always. Jin stood near a wide window, his hands resting at his sides. Below him, the planet turned slowly, covered in oceans and clouds. He had seen many worlds from a distance, but never one like this. This one was alive in a way that could be felt, even through metal and glass. Era joined him, holding a small datapad. They approved it, she said. Jin turned. All of it. Ara nodded. A joint research charter. Shared leadership. Shared results. Jin let out a slow breath. Our council would never agree to this. You're not our council anymore, Era replied. SEO was already inside the station's engineering ring, working with a team of human technicians. He moved more slowly now, but his eyes were bright. For the first time in years, he worked on systems that were meant to last, not just survive. Humans came and went around them. Some stared with open curiosity. Others smiled or waved. No one treated them like mistakes that should have been erased. Jin still struggled with that. A human officer approached. Captain Hayes will see you now. The room where Hayes waited was simple. No symbols of rank on the walls. Just screens, chairs, and a table marked with scratches from years of use. Hayes looked older than before. His injuries had healed, but the fight had left its mark. He stood when Jin entered. You settling in? Hayes asked. As much as one can, Jin said. Hayes smiled. Fair answer? Jin hesitated. Why continue this? The coalition has withdrawn. The risk remains. Hayes leaned against the table, because backing down now would prove them right. Right about what? That fear works. Jin considered that. His people believed fear was the strongest tool. Humanity seemed to treat it as a problem to be solved. Reports came in over the next weeks. Other abandoned crews, other erased failures. Some human ships diverted without orders. Others followed after hearing the stories. Humanity did not announce a crusade. They simply kept answering calls. Era helped build translation systems, smoothing language gaps between species. She laughed more now. Sometimes she cried too, but she did not hide it. SEOIQ trained younger engineers, human and alien alike. He taught them how to fix systems that should have been replaced, and when to stop trying to save what could not be saved. Jin took longer to find his place. One day, a message arrived on a secure channel. Coalition origin. High authority. They want to talk, Ara said. Jin felt the old fear rise. Talk or warn? Both Seok said. The meeting was remote. The council speaker appeared again, unchanged. Your continued existence is disruptive, speaker said. Jin looked straight ahead. So is yours, There was a pause. Human influence spreads instability, speaker continued. Hayes's voice came through calmly. Funny, our systems are still standing. The speaker ignored him. Return, Jin. You may yet be reintegrated. Ada stiffened. Jin answered without hesitation. No, then you choose exile. Jin nodded. I choose life. The signal ended. Weeks later, a human exploration ship departed toward unknown space. Its broadcast echoed freely. If you need help, answer. Jin watched it leave, feeling something close to peace. Humanity did not claim the stars. They shared them, and the silence never returned.